Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. In this video, we are going to do a weekend recap. That is Friday, Saturday, Sunday games around the NBA. We're going to talk about the Wolves versus the Mavericks, the Lakers versus the Clippers, the Rockets versus the Knicks, the Thunder versus the Cavs, and the Lakers versus the Celtics, all in different degrees of discussion. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So we're going to talk about these games, some of them a little bit, some of them much more. The first game I want to start with here is from February 20th. I believe that's Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Friday. This past Friday. And there wasn't really much to this game. Cooper Flag didn't play in this game for the Dallas Mavericks. And Mike Conley did not play in this game for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Overall, there are more storylines for this game than the actual game, or I should say, there are more storylines for the Mavs over the course of these last couple games, including this one versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, in which Chris Middleton had 18 points. Marvin Bagley had 15 points. And I point those players out specifically because some Mavs fans are upset that Chris Middleton is actually playing well and that he's going to win them too many games for them to get a top lottery pick, a top draft pick. Um, Overall, I'm just happy that Chris Middleton is playing well. He's been in such a weird space for, was it like 2 years now, 3 years now, where he had the double ankle surgery. He didn't come back anywhere near his old self. Couldn't defend a lick anymore. And then that was when he was on the Milwaukee Bucks. Then was on the Wizards doing God knows what. Nobody keeps up with the Wizards. And then gets traded to Dallas at this past trade deadline, and he's looked good. He's looked serviceable again. We'll put it that way. He's looked serviceable, and I've been surprised by that. Like you think a team with a bunch of these forwards and like no real point guard. Well, they have one real point guard, but a real point guard that's familiar with the system and what Jason Kidd wants to do. You think he struggled a little bit? No, he's looked fine. And then the other one that goes sort of hand in hand with another play that we're going to talk about later here. Marvin Bagley, 15 points, 13 rebounds, looking really good. He was low key kind of good on the Wizards, but again, nobody watches the Wizards, so you wouldn't really know that. I've only seen a couple highlights of him on the Wizards. He was on like a non-guaranteed, then was a guaranteed contract, I believe, or something like that. And he played his way to he played his way back in the league essentially, after being almost out of a job, and to end up in Dallas, and him being able to showcase his talent on this team that is probably going to rebuild. I mean, how old is Marvin Bagley here? Marvin Bagley is 26. He's still only 26. Damn, he's still only 26. That's crazy. Could he be a future piece of this team? I, I don't know. That's a great question. The other thing from this game, this was the first game of the weekend games that I watched. When I turned on this game, and it was one of the first games after All Star break too for me. I turned on this game and I was like, "Wait, who are these people?" And then I realized I hadn't seen Chris Middleton in a Mavs jersey. I hadn't seen Tyus Jones in a Mavs jersey. Marvin Bagley in a in a Mavs jersey. I was like, I was so confused who all these people were. I was like, oh wait, yeah, that's right. They made so many trades. They got rid of Anthony Davis and all this stuff. And you think I would remember this stuff, and I didn't, because my mind was just completely off basketball for a couple days. And then this game just like locked me back in. I was like, oh my god, who are all these people? Um, Even though those guys had good performances for this team, and the final score doesn't look too bad. Dallas Mavericks 111, Minnesota Timberwolves 122. Um, the Timberwolves, and more specifically Anthony Edwards, just had a day. Anthony Edwards 40 points, 16 for 30 overall from field goal, 5 of 13 from three, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, two personal fouls. This was a this was an Anthony Edwards game if I've ever seen one. He looked really good. He took a lot of shots. Some of them weren't the greatest looks, but he gave you 40, and you had Nas Reed backing him up with 21. You had Rudy Gobert with 22. I mean, the yeah, the Mavs really didn't have any size to combat Rudy Gobert. So when you don't have size to combat Rudy Gobert, you get a Rudy Gobert almost 20 and 20 game, 22 points, 17 rebounds. It was a really good showing for the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are now, let's see, they're hanging around play-in territory, but a recent injury to the team below them might help them out here, and they might escape the play-in, and they might be able to. Would they have home court? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have home court. No, they would need to get up a couple more spots to get home court. Which I mean, they could. Uh, If the Timberwolves stay on this trajectory, they could definitely get up to at least four in the West, which would be interesting to see. But who knows? So yeah, that's it for that game. Any other thoughts about this game? Um, no. Dallas is just trying to tank a little bit. I can't blame them. I did like this. I did like seeing Tyus Jones. He started this game actually as well. Um, back in a somewhat believable environment for him, where he was on the not the Mavericks, the Magic, and he was just god awful. He was so awful. I felt so bad for him because he was so good in his last stop. I believe his last stop was um, the Phoenix Suns before that, and he looked really good. And then he left and went to the Magic, and it just didn't work out. It was just bad. And I mean, the Magic have their own problems that maybe we'll talk about later on another day. But um, yeah, it was not a great environment for Tyus Jones, and for him to be in this environment now, where he can just do whatever the hell he wants and be able to actually play his role that he knows how to play, and that got everybody's attention when he was on Phoenix again in Dallas is really good, and I'm very happy for him. Let's see here. Moving on to this Lakers Clippers game. Oh, I have notes for this Lakers Clippers game. This Lakers Clippers game was ridiculous. Let me pull my notes here real quick. So I have a lot of end game notes here for a specific reason. This game um, was very back and forth, super back and forth, um, and then came down to the last quarter, and then like the last 6 minutes, and it started to get really interesting. It got super interesting. You're like, oh my god, the Lakers are gonna um, fall even further down the standings. I mean, if they had lost that game, yeah, that would have put them where the Timberwolves are. But spoiler, they won this game. But the interesting thing that happened, there were several dominoes that fell that prevented the Clippers from winning this game. The Clippers looked decent, and then they didn't. And they looked decent because Kawhi has been on a tear. He had 31 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, played 31 minutes, um, looked really good, was going head to head with LeBron, um, matching Luka in scoring, doing all the defensive things that Kawhi Leonard does. And then around the 5 minute mark in the fourth quarter, um, he was not on the floor anymore, and he wasn't on the bench. He was in the back, and it was reported that he had ankle soreness and would not return to the game. And after that, I wanted to believe that the Clippers could maybe pull this out, maybe. And then I slowly started to watch it go away from them. Um, Benedict Mathurin was looked at to be the next up scorer. He was the second highest scorer in this game, but he will consistently be looked at um, in this latter half of the season with Kawhi as the secondary scorer. Even when Darius Garland comes back, I don't think Darius Garland will be the secondary scorer. I think he'll be focused on getting people the ball and doing all the stuff that he did in Cleveland, um, but just with Benedict Mathurin and Kawhi in LA now. But Benedict Mathurin was looked at to be or try to be the guy that kept him in this game, and he tried, and at times he tried too much, and he fouled out eventually, in crunch time. One foul. He had four fouls. He had a really dumb one that got him to five, and then Austin Reeves had positioning on him in the paint, and Benedict Mathurin got a charge foul, just charged right at Austin Reeves, and picked up the sixth one. And you can see the look on his face. He's like, and you can see everybody on the bench like, what? And they reviewed it, and he was out of the game, and that was it for the Clippers. They lost two of their leading scorers for that night, um, and it just wasn't a good look at the end of this game. I mean, you had John Collins, who was he also in foul trouble? No, but he just didn't look good. He only played 16 minutes. Um, was he injured this game? Did he get injured? I feel like I need to figure out if he was injured or not. Oh yeah, no, he had a yeah he got injured. Yeah, he got injured this game. Derek Jones hit back after a long hiatus. Only 13 points. You're not looking at him to be a scorer. Brook Lopez looked okay, 16 and 10. Maybe one of his better games as a Clipper. Jordan Miller looked okay. And yeah, that's why the Lakers won this game. But the Lakers were not without their good and bad moments at the end of this game. Um, for the whole game, Luka Doncic 38 points, Austin Reeves 29 points, DeAndre Ayton 13, LeBron James 13. Um, man, I have so many thoughts about DeAndre Ayton, their starting center. Um, I said this at the beginning of the year. I'll say it again here. I've said it a bunch of times before now. DeAndre's motor runs very hot or cold. It goes it's really up or it's really down, and he does the bare minimum as a center. And I at some point, no, he probably shouldn't even be a starting center at this point. He does not care enough about basketball. And the guy I saw at Arizona, that was the number one pick, is nowhere near the guy that DeAndre Ayton is right now. The whole fourth quarter, they tried to get him the ball. LeBron tried to like snipe him the ball from the top of the key, and DeAndre Ayton has head turned the exact opposite way from where LeBron was, and it just bounced off his shoulder, bounced off his arm, and he looked up and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." And LeBron was just like, "I don't care." Um, he looked awful. He looked awful. I understand why JJ Redick has to start him, but I would just bench this guy at this point in the season. You're trying to be better in the standings right now, and you're sitting at five. You're 34 and 22. Timberwolves are catching. The Rockets are dropping. They're almost tied with you. How many? They're only half a game back from the Rockets. You could realistically maybe catch Denver if you get lucky, but you just can't play this guy, DeAndre. You just can't. You just can't anymore. It's embarrassing. Um, he played. I don't want to go on a tangent about him. Anyway, moving on to something positive about this Lakers win. Marcus Smart, even though he only had 7 points, looked good. He looked like, I want to say Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, that he was a few years ago, but he looked somewhat near that. And that's saying a lot for a guy who um, has been unplayable in his last couple um, stops in different cities and different teams. Um, Getting to play this niche little role next to Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron. He starts some nights. He started this night. I'll play 29 minutes. He did the Marcus Smart things you want him to do, and JJ Redick I think has used him a little too much sometimes. But you really don't have anybody else to turn to. I mean, I personally would like to see some more Luke Kennard minutes if he's shooting the ball well. Jake Laravia's sort of fallen off. Jared Vanderbilt has never gone to that point. Rui Hachimura has nights where he's hot and cold. Jackson Hayes is a center, so he can't guard guards essentially. Um, and then yeah, you kind of I understand why he's playing Marcus Smart a lot, but I would like to see somebody else get a couple of these looks because Marcus Smart sometimes is out there for too long. and there's a meter for like how much Marcus Smart there should be, and sometimes JJ Redick goes over that meter. um, Luka had a really good game. 38 points, 11 for 25 from field goal, 8 of 14 from three, 11 for 8 from free throw, 11 assists, only 2 turnovers, which is really good, especially against this awkward Clippers team that can play some spot, good defense. And then 6 rebounds also for Luka. Derek Jones Jr., like I said, back from injury. I believe it was a really long injury. This is the first time he's played since a couple months ago, if I'm remembering correctly. He stepped up big time in this game when everybody else was out, when Kawhi, when Nick Benedict Matthew went out. But he missed important free throws right at the end. And it was a little bit disappointing because it was like you should probably make that one. Um, the Clippers almost win on a great steal and a huge missed shot at the end. Um, that steal was crazy. I don't even want to try to describe it to you. If you want to see the clip, it's definitely on YouTube or Twitter or something. If you want to see the clip for this Clippers Lakers game. Um, so the final score for this game: 125 Lakers, 122 Clippers. A narrow victory for the Lakers, and uh, the Clippers regress to 27-29 on this season. Not great. We're also going to talk about the Lakers um, later in this video, right at the end. A couple games here I want to talk about briefly. The next couple: Knicks versus Rockets in Madison Square Garden, and Cavaliers in Oklahoma to play the Thunder. Knicks Rockets first. Um, these teams, I don't want to say have completely flip flopped, but the 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 Knicks have showed a little something. They've showed a little something these last couple games, and they've had some really ugly losses. But I feel like they're getting their mojo back. They're getting their spark back, that toughness that they had last year. I don't think they're going to get near that toughness they had last year, um, visually, but like internally, that's what matters for this Knicks team. I feel like before All Star break, they were heading down a really dangerous road of like the locker room sort of not like split apart, but like the locker room's like they might have good vibes, but like when it comes to having the hard conversations and having like people taking accountability, I felt like they were heading down a path where it just wasn't good. Um, that being said, however, they've added a couple guys who bring accountability, who bring, I don't want to say winning culture, but they bring toughness essentially. They bring in Jeremy Shohan, who I is one of the players I'm most interested in the NBA just as a whole. I just don't know what he does. Like he's a master of none, but like okay at everything. I guess like just at everything. They bring in Jose Alvarado as well. Two guys to shore up that bench and more bodies for Mike Brown to throw out there. Um, there have been some developments in that lineup. Jordan Clarkson did not play this game, coach's decision. Um, Ariel Hawkporte did not play this game, coach's decision. Hakom Padadier did not play this game, coach's decision. So this lineup right here is like a playoff lineup to me. Like these are the players that are gonna play in the playoffs, and those players being OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. That's the starting five, and then off the bench, Jeremy Shohan, Muhammad Diwara, Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, and then maybe like and Jose Alvarado as well, and then maybe like one of these other guys like Kevin McCullough or something, or Tyler Kolek is gonna come in and play some spot minutes if somebody's in foul trouble in the playoffs. Because this game, middle of your screen, left of your screen as well, middle left, it was a playoff game, and if this was a playoff atmosphere and a sort of playoff game, this was a huge meltdown for the Rockets. The Rockets were in control for a vast majority of this game, and it was supremely disappointing how this team went out and how they operated in the last couple minutes. They had everybody. Everybody was healthy. Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Alperen Sengun, Ahmed Thompson, all healthy. Kevin Durant had 30. Jabari Smith had 21. Missed a shot at the end of the game to maybe make it more competitive. That was very disappointing. Kevin Durant also missed a shot before that. At the end of the game, Reed Shepard had 10. this was just a collapse for this Rockets team who had this game in the bag, and the Knicks said, "Hold up, wait, we're in the Garden, we're gonna win this game." And I don't want to say it was because of coaching. I just want to say it's because if you've been keeping up with Kevin Durant and the Kevin Durant saga, Kevin Durant has has burned some people in Houston already, and I don't know if those individuals that he burned have seen this stuff, um, or know about this stuff in detail. But the stuff that was Kevin Durant supposedly said about his teammates on his alternate account on Twitter, his burner account on Twitter, um, is very damning, and it's a lot of things that Kevin Durant's a smart guy that are true. Jabari Smith should not be taking some of the shots he's taking, even though he had 20 this game. Ahmed Thompson, a lot of fire, but man, are people is he getting exposed this season or not? And then Uprin Shengun, he was also very on the nose about Uprin Shengun in those leaked Twitter DMs. Um, and there's another guy here that just has been a is a huge. This was a huge offseason miss, and I thought he was going to be really important to this team. Dorian Finney-Smith, 21 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 4 from three, 1 of 4 from field goal, 0 of 2 from three. God awful. He's been awful, and I know he's only been back like maybe like 2 months now, month and a half now. Um, he just looks awful, man. And I thought he was gonna be starting on this team. I thought they were gonna go real crazy and start like Ahmed, KD, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jabari Smith, and then like Eprin Shengun or something like that. They have not managed to get this team clicking like they were at the beginning of the season. And um, Coach Ime Udoka, who I like a lot, um, has not been able to coach this team well in these situations. I feel like they either lose these really close games dramatically, or they something clicks in them against certain matchups against certain teams, and they win these games, these close games, very convincingly, even though they are close. But the Knicks, man. OG Anunoby 20, Karl Towns 25, Jalen Brunson 20. Did not shoot. Did they shoot the three ball well? They're like 38% to the Rockets 39. So yeah, it was a pretty close game by the 3 point line. Um, yeah, the Rockets have lost. They've lost something, and I don't know if they can get it back because they made no moves at the trade deadline. There's nobody coming through that door to help them. You can't get better during the season. Like you can ask Ahmed Thompson to shoot the three ball better. He can work on it as much as he wants in the regular season. It's not gonna do anything, you know. Um, you have to deal with who you got, and who you got right now isn't great. Aaron Holiday, injured right now, I think. Josh Okogie just didn't play this game. It's not looking great for the Rockets, and I thought the Rockets would be top three this year, and I don't think they're gonna get to top three. I think four is where they're gonna stay right now, if they can't turn it around mentally. Cleveland versus Oklahoma. The final score for this Knicks Rockets game, 108 to the Rockets 106. Cleveland Thunder. Um, by the final score, it looks close. By the end of this game, it did not look. But by the in the course of this game is different from the end of the game. Um, the Thunder just keep on impressing me with the amount of people they have. Just the amount of people, and then the 76ers let them have just um, where is he? Jared McCain for nothing. Um, the Thunder did not have anybody of the big three besides Chet Holmgren, who played serviceably enough, 17 and 15. But the big story was Kason Wallace, 20 points, and Isaiah Joe, 22 points. Isaiah Joe, I saw a crazy highlight reel. He had 5 steals in 6 minutes. 5 steals, 6 minutes. Um, which is insane. The ball handling, um, the ball handling, the passing just wasn't great. Wasn't great this game for the Cavaliers. The Thunder took every advantage they could. Kason Wallace 4 of 8 from three. Isaiah Joe 6 from 11. Um, Jalen Williams, Jaylin Williams, 3 for 5 from three. Jared McCain 2 of 3 from three. They shot 51% from three. So yeah, they gave them they gave the Cavaliers the business, and the Cavaliers were undefeated with James Harden for a little bit there. I believe it was 4 games in a row, or that they were undefeated, and um, no longer undefeated. Although Donovan Mitchell and James Harden seemed like a good duo. Seemed like a good duo. Um, Sam Merrill 20 points for the Cavs as well. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden also had 20. Um, Donovan Mitchell very inefficient 20. Did not make a single three, which is not great. And then the big one that sticks out to me here um, for this loss is Dean. I've seen this way too much this season. Dean Wade starting plays like almost 20 minutes, 0 points. Why is he out there? Like, I know he's an okay defender, but like Jalen Tyson should be out there. Like, come on. Like, let's get somebody else out there. Like, come on. We can't be doing this. Um, uh, no, I can't be doing this. I thought about it, I was like, wait a second, no, they can't be doing that. I thought about it for a second and I was like, yeah, no, he shouldn't be out there. That's what I meant to say. Um, and the last game here for the weekend as we head into the week. An old school matchup, a throwback matchup, Celtics versus Lakers in LA. The Boston Celtics won this game 111 to the Lakers 89, and this was one of those games that everybody watched. And since everybody watched, people were not kind on social media, and they were giving the Lakers the business. And I hate to say it because he's one of my favorite players. I'm looking at his jersey right now. Um, that people were giving Luka the business. They were not happy with Luka, and Luka's been getting thrown under the bus a lot. And as a star player, that's just what's going to happen. But Luka does need to be better. This was a game in which, for Luka, there was a lot of complaining. There was a lot of just nonsense. It's one of those nonsense games for Luka, and I was not particularly happy with the way he was behaving. It's very unbecoming of a guy who is going to be the franchise star um, of this Lakers team, one of the most recognizable franchises in sports in general. It's very unbecoming of Luka, and I think there was something to be said about him just losing a little something over the last couple years. His explosiveness isn't there like it used to be. I haven't seen him throw down a dunk in like 2 years now. Like maybe there's a dunk out there that I haven't seen, like a little rim grazer, but I haven't seen it. And he just doesn't. It, I don't want to be too harsh on him because it is just a random game, but it is against the Celtics and it's a big time game. And it's like, Luka, everybody's watching. This isn't a game versus the Utah Jazz. Like, everybody's watching, and like you just do sort of this like immature stuff, and it sort of reflects on the team, and then like the team doesn't really flow like it should, and like I get it, this team sort of sucks. Like the Lakers are sort of kind of obviously punting on the season. Like they know they're not going on a deep playoff run. They know DeAndre Ayton isn't good. He had 4 points this game, 25 minutes. Um, they know like Austin Reeves is gonna ask for a lot of money. 15 points tonight or last night. 32 points. 32 minutes, 15 points. They know LeBron is probably gone after this season. There needs to be something. There needs to be a culture shift, and it can't happen mid-season. It just can't. And Luka tries his best. Sometimes a little too much. 4-7 from three, 9 of 22 from field goal. And the Lakers just got lit up. They got lit up. And for the Celtics, the Celtics looked crazy. They looked insane. Off the bench, Payne Pritchard was the second leading scorer with 30, and then Jaylen Brown, 32 points as a starter. I don't know why I said it like that. Jaylen Brown leading the starters with 32 points, 10 of 28 from field goal, 9 of 12 from free throw, and 3 of 9 from three, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, almost a triple double. I didn't even notice that. Um, yeah, those two just single handedly beat the Lakers. Is that duo better than LeBron and Luca? I guess for now, in this version of this matchup, yeah, right now they are. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. There's one more thing I want to talk about very quickly. It's that Dylan Brooks, who's having a really good year, who I think, if it's at all possible, maybe should be most improved player, maybe possibly. Sustained a left hand injury um, versus the Magic on, when was it? That was against the Magic. That was on Saturday. So yeah. Um, then it was reported that it was a broken hand and they had no timetable for it. And then it came out a couple hours ago that he will be out 4 to 6 weeks. So huge blow for a sort of floating and really impressive um, Suns team who's in the play-in and will probably stay around the play-in. If they can get Devin Booker back healthy, if they can get some tough wins like I thought they would all year. Um, Jalen Green hit a game winner a couple nights ago, so yeah, we'll see what happens with the Suns. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. You will get more NBA stuff and more college stuff this week as I try to balance the two. Definitely some more NBA stuff on Wednesday, and then some college stuff as we head into March. So yeah, if you like comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and then we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.